Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of the light situation.
I know. So we're changing up the light situation a little bit.
Also, the camera's too wide, isn't it?
Is it?
You can see my knees.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, so I know that only about 10% of our audience is an audience on YouTube, but I've been putting a lot of effort into the YouTube videos.
Let's be honest, this is for us. It's not for you.
So I started editing them differently, where I like zoomed in on our faces to make it look more, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird watching the video. It was so far away sometimes, or whatever. But yeah. So anyway, so if it's very bright right now. We have all the lights on, I'm experimenting. I have close light on, far light off. That's what I'm doing. Episode 60, 61. I'm gonna do the opposite. We usually do all lights off, and then just the weird random twinkle lights I have in the room on.
Yeah, and that's not great for filming.
Yeah, more light the better typically
Yep.
for videos. You can make stuff look darker naturally. You can't make it look brighter naturally.
So this is the How We Film Our podcast that is about podcasting about your recorded on
We already
podcast.
lost everybody.
Yep,
No one's listening
sorry.
anymore.
Start over.
Um,
Smack.
Hi, my name is Willows,
And my name is Tyler.
and this is the podcast called Alcohol Beyond This Point. It's not that thing that Tyler was saying, and it's
Sorry to disappoint.
we just drink alcohol and discuss business and life and politics and whatever else, and then that's it. It's a pretty easy theme to get in hand. Today I'm drinking very, very expensive gin in a Moscow Mule. I'm just gonna ruin the expensive gin. This
How
is like
dare you?
$50 for a half bottle, and I'm just gonna fucking drown it in Safeway ginger beer.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm here for it. That's Willow's thing to do, I guess.
It's a very Willows thing to do. Hold on, I need an ice cube.
At least you're not the type of bloke that just gets like Trump gets his steak well done and just drowns it in, what is it, HP or is it ketchup?
Ketchup. It's not even HP sauce.
It's worse. It's fucking
It's literally worse.
that makes me so sad.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
a very.
If you needed to know anything about Trump as a human being, just know that he drowns
if
$500 steaks in ketchup and gets them well done.
If you need to know anything about a human being, see how they eat their steak.
And if they don't eat steak, they're obviously less than human. My girlfriend is
Your girlfriend a vegetarian? I was just gonna say.
She doesn't listen to the podcast though, so it's fine.
Haha, because she doesn't support your art. That's like the 5th time I've said that in 5 episodes.
It's fine.
Um,
Broadly, I'd rather she didn't.
Here's a few other things. I'm gonna quiz you, okay? I'm gonna ask you this or that, and you're gonna tell me. This is. I always ask new girlfriends this, so I can kind of figure them out, okay? Because people always do like the Coke or Pepsi, right?
Uh-huh.
Too fucking simple. Puffy or crunchy Cheetos?
Crunchy.
I'm on the puffy side myself.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Don't love it?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm on the puffy side. Unless those fucking super spicy ones.
The flaming hot crunchy Cheetos.
Yeah, then now we're talking. But no, I'm a puffy guy myself. I can't
no.
remember any other one that I.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was expecting so much more.
Yeah, I have like 10 more, but I literally cannot remember a single one.
When I finish my beer, I'm gonna have some of that gin on rocks,
I
just to redeem you.
shout out
Patent 5.
Patent 5, friends of ours, friends of the show. This is a Elitaria gin. It's a spiced gin. Think a whiskey, but
Gin.
Basically, it's
That's a terrible description. Mr.
it's
Liquor Man.
awful. Well, basically they put a bunch of different botanicals. It's like 17 different botanicals that they age it in the gin, and then I think they do something else. I don't care, but it's quite good.
Can I smell it?
Yep. Just give me another shot. Hold on. But it is quite expensive.
Quite fragrant. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not
I thought
an expert.
you hated gin.
I do. I'm gonna Tough it out. I hate gin because of you. So,
Elaborate.
we drank too much gin. That's all there is to it. We finished an entire 2.6 of gin in one sitting, and it kind of ruined it for me.
It's not a lot of gin, but whatever.
At the time, I didn't drink that much, and it was.
It's only like 13 shots to split a 2.6 with me.
Yeah, but we did it in like a short period of time.
It was like a couple hours, I think.
It wasn't all we drank either.
I think we just came back from a funeral, if it's the time I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck off. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying we shouldn't have done it.
you're just saying.
I'm just saying it was
you've been ruined.
It was one of my all-time best hangovers.
So I was gonna say on the Trump steak front.
Yeah, there's a lot of updates about Trump that excite me.
This wasn't related. I was just gonna change the subject entirely, but it was kind of related.
Please do.
Andrew Cuomo, the president of New York City.
Andrew Cuomo.
He ate a pizza with a fork one time.
And like depending on the pizza, that's okay.
Well, he's in jail for it now.
Yeah,
because you can't do that in New York. In New York,
New York.
He was getting fucking roasted.
Yeah.
By New Yorkers for doing that. Like that is like sacrilege.
There's one pizza that I like to eat with a fork, and I don't know if I've told this story before, but it's kind of like that old adage of like grandma or your mom cuts the ends off the ham before she bakes it. And you ask her why, it's like, well, because grandma did it. You ask grandma why, and she's like, well, my mom did it. And you ask her, it's like, oh, our roaster was too small and the ham wouldn't fit in it, so we cut off the end.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it was just like it got lost generationally. They just started doing it.
Yeah.
So my family eats. We used to eat pizza at this local restaurant in Winkler all the time. Phenomenal pizza, still some of the best pizza I've ever had.
It's quite good.
And yeah, it's made with pierogi dough for the pizza dough, and the pizza sauce is like half barbecue, and which they make. I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very good.
And all the other thing that they do that's makes it unique. So it's a thin crust. They have this sauce that gets and stays very hot in the way that they bake it. So they have the sauce and all the toppings, and all the cheese goes on top of all the toppings, which is not normal. Usually, most of your toppings go on top of the cheese.
It's called a. Wait, is the sauce on top of the cheese too?
No.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
There is. I've had one of those. It's called an upside down pizza, and it's I think cheese topping cheese sauce, and then they bake it.
Okay, this isn't that. It's just the only difference is the cheese goes on last.
Yeah.
And they do a shitload of it.
Yeah.
So it
melts it on and
so it seals in kind of all the heat on, and also it keeps the sauce super runny because it's super hot, and it like all the toppings just stay really, really hot. So that's what's different about it. So, and they also serve it to you in like in the square cuts instead of big pie slices because it's really thin crust.
Yeah.
So that another reason it kind of makes sense to eat it like that. It's like a little tiny piece. But I didn't really think about it. It's just something we always did. We just,
ate it with
the pizza
fork.
comes, you pull out your fork, you start eating. And I went there with Carly, and she's like, why are you eating with a fork? She's like, no, that's going to be a no for me. Like, I'm just going to eat this with my hands. Picks it up, takes a bite, sauce comes out, and it burns her. Like, burns her hand, burns her face. Like, not insignificantly. Like, enough that
irreparably. She had to have skin grafts.
Yeah. No, enough that it, like, really fucking hurt. So she, like, drops this thing. She's like, oh, shit. And, like, it's one of those things, like, your mouth is pretty high heat tolerances compared to your face, right?
I have a few comments, but
I know
I'll
you
just
do.
let that go.
I'm like, oh, that's... Yeah, oh yeah, that's why we use a fork. You pick up your fucking fork, like eat the pizza with a fork. So,
bitch.
That story just to say, Mr. Cuomo may have been wrongfully jailed, but probably not.
Probably not. Is he still president of New York? I don't follow anything.
He's a governor.
I thought he was who's the
Mayor.
president of New York then?
Bill de Blasio.
Right. I thought he was the Florida guy. That's Ron DeSantis.
That's DeSantis.
There's so many different kinds of guys.
There's so many motherfuckers out there.
I don't like, you know what? I don't like all the kinds of guys. I like all the kinds of boys.
That's illegal.
So yesterday, Tyler asked me in front of a group of people, what goes on in my head all day? Like, what do I think about? And I couldn't answer you.
So you were thinking about it today.
No. And then later in that conversation, JL was trying to fucking tell me facts about manatees, but I knew that the fact was incorrect. I know about, and I'm like, you can't fucking, I know all the boy facts. And then Mitch is like, that's what his fucking head is just filled with. It's just like, it's just a fucking nature documentary playing. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. But, yeah, because I told the story about how I'm just fucking oblivious. Like, there was one time, long story short, we had cops come into the house. It was a whole thing with a roommate. And I was in the basement, and these fucking cops come in, like multiple, with their boots on, presumably, and there was like shouting and stuff. And I was I didn't even know they were there. I wasn't even wearing headphones. I was just like, I guess probably something was playing music, but like that was before I had my office here. So it was like, I was just sitting in my bed, like, do. And then when they left, they slammed the door. And I texted my other roommate. I'm like, why is someone slamming the door? He's like, did you not hear any of that? And I'm like, what? Yeah.
So Willows is never the lookout.
Definitely not. Definitely.
He'd like get distracted by watching some deer go by and like miss a SWAT van pull into the driveway, and he wouldn't like, hello.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, man. Like, is there something wrong with me?
Yeah.
There's nothing in my brain.
Yeah, that's fine. So do you have any business topics you'd like to talk about? Because I got one on the cusp.
Oh, go for it then.
So I'm gonna frame this with bit of news, fun news of the week. So Trump's accounting firm is withdrawing all of their financial statements that they prepared for the Trump organization over the last decade. And Willows, would you like to explain to the audience why you need prepared financial statements as a business?
Well, there's this little group of tricksters called the Canadian Revenue Agency, and or whatever the IRS stands for.
Internal Revenue Service.
And they're going to get you. You need to have 7 years of you need to have 7 years accounting of every single purchase, expense, and payment that you've received at all times when you run a business by law.
That's for tax purposes. I'm talking about reviewed financial statements.
For what purpose? I don't know.
Okay, maybe you don't know.
What do I look like?
You haven't done reviewed. I guess no, your corporation wouldn't have gone through this. Okay, when your corporation wants to get like a significant loan, for example, if you want to go to BDC, like the Business Development Bank of Canada, or if you want to get a big property loan.
You have to. It's like accountant audited financials.
Yeah, it's audited. Yeah. It's like a tier. I don't know. It's like a level 1 auditing.
Specifically, when I file my corporate taxes, the first page says a letter from my accountant that says these have not been verified or audited by me. True. They've just been prepared by me under the auspices that all the data that I'm presented with is correct.
So the next level of that would be your accountant actually goes into everything and investigates and audits. Yeah,
and then they're on the chopping block if there's any lies or anything. So because I can just put anything I want in my fucking QuickBooks.
Exactly. So the accounting firm that does this or did this for the Trump organization basically stepped back and said you can't trust anything that we published for the Trump organization in the last decade, which I don't know, is that an admission of guilt?
When I heard about this, my first thought was that is literally them admitting to being complicit in a crime. Yeah. This is like happening right now. So if you're listening from Futureland, you probably already know the outcome. But what I think is happening is that they know there's indictments coming down.
Yeah, there's something worse.
Like somebody told their friend their friend who's a secretary at the New York Police Service saw their names on a fucking arrest warrant, and they know it's coming down, so they want to get it out in front of it and be like, and in court be like, oh no, we obviously felt guilt as soon as we figured it out because we came out first before the indictments. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's probably less subtle than that. They probably got dragged into like a
interrogation or something.
into some kind of interrogation in front of a committee, and they're like, yeah, we know we did a wrong. So this is maybe a concession that they had. Maybe this is the concession that they step back and take the humiliation. Maybe they get some charges. Maybe there's something in the background that allows them to exist.
It's not like saying being like, oh yeah, that was a mistake. It's not like that. Like protects you. You broke the fucking law.
Yeah.
Or presumably, we don't know what they did.
But
presumably there's some fraud here or something.
But them
right?
retracting those statements might open up, basically an avenue of investigation, or just a way to basically take down Trump without them even having to win a court case.
Yeah.
Like they're just pressuring. Like,
and this
is like the outsized effects of lawsuits. Is it's the soft power of a prosecutor to lean on people. And without actually having like a judgment, right?
And this, is for his
corporation.
What? Which one?
I don't know, the Trump organization, the one that owns all the real estate.
Okay.
And the towers and
but that has nothing to do
the
with
casinos.
Does that have anything to do with him being the president?
No, this is personal base of wealth.
Okay.
Which is a lot. I guess it used to be his entire identity. Now it's less of his identity. Now
because he's the fucking president of the United States.
Yeah, now he has individually, he's stronger than his corporation.
Oh, 100%.
But it does go a ways to just, I mean, at this point, he's a God King, and they can't really do anything to discredit him. But so maybe this is like a wild goose chase, and it won't fucking matter. But if they can get a conviction of criminal activity, that would prevent him from running for office again.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're convicted of a felony, you cannot run for president.
What if he gets pardoned?
By who? I guess the next president?
Yeah, the next Republican president.
I guess so.
Wait. So...
But he'll be dead by then.
Wait, hold on.
He'll be fucking like 85.
Wait, hold on, though. So, 2024, DeSantis wins against Biden, right?
Yeah.
Does 2 terms, pardons Trump. Trump runs at like 99 years old and wins.
I was going to say, he'll be like 94.
And does another term. Is anyone else poised to like take the Republican nomination?
Pretty much DeSantis and
Does he want to though?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Trump's already trying to discredit the guy.
Because I know Trump wants to.
Yeah.
But Biden apparently doesn't want to run again?
No.
And then they can't make Kamala the front runner. Trump versus Clinton rematch. Let's go.
Honestly, I'm not even I'm not even up on that fucking bullshit. I don't know. It's too far out. I don't really care. But no, this is going in a business direction. I swear to God. So
19 minutes in, haven't said anything business like usual.
No, we've been talking about prepared financial statements and taxes and auditing and why it's important.
Oh yeah. Get your fucking books in frickin' toitness. Toit. Man, I talk to business people all the time that are like, well, I can't do every receipt. And
sure,
I'm like, oh, my sweet summer child. If you ever get audited, you are fucked. Like,
yeah.
Well, we have a friend that doesn't have a personal bank account, and he just uses whatever business bank account has the most money in it to make his personal bills.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like,
apparently you can.
You can't. Like,
apparently you can.
Well, okay, you can do anything.
For some amount of time.
Yeah, apparently you can do anything, but just fucking wait.
Basically, Trump's had just a really... He's been stretching like marginal successes to look like they are a lot more than they are. So he's long story short, Trump's bad at real estate.
True.
He's bad at business, and he loses money at virtually everything he does. Only thing that he hasn't lost money at is The Apprentice and being the president. Those are the only 2 things that have actually made him money in his life.
Isn't it more impressive that he loses money constantly and he's still like fucking Russian porn stars?
Not really.
I don't know. I think it's more impressive.
I don't think it's that impressive.
How can you be a he's a abjunct failure and still president? That's fucking pretty badass. This is the Trump love podcast now.
I don't like it. So this getting pulled out from under him, like I guess I wanted to kind of get your take on, like any business owner knows, you got two sets of books. You got the bank, you got the books for the loans, and you got the books
For the tax
for the
man.
taxes. And
Yeah.
that's a generally accepted practice.
That's legal. It's so yeah. Basically,
It's like your house valuation versus its taxable value. It's the same idea.
It's legal to have. Yeah, we have two sets of books. One that you file taxes with, where like you're taking depreciation over a longer period, and
Shorter period.
shorter period. Sorry, yeah, excuse me, and like, what else? Like if you get purchase orders, you can either declare the money when the purchase order came in or when it's actually paid.
Yeah.
So depending on, like, for tax purposes, you want to make if it's like a 90-day, you want to make it longer.
Yeah, you're effectively moving stuff around in your timeline.
Yeah, which is legal and fine
Yeah.
because you're legally allowed to do your books multiple different ways. You can do cash accounting, which means whenever cash comes in, then it's accounted for, or accrual accounting, which I recommend everyone do, is when, like, if you get a purchase order, then that's income even though you haven't been paid for it.
Right.
But you can do one in cash accounting, give it to CRA and be like, I made less. And
Right.
then for the bank, you want to make more and you want to inflate your assets, obviously.
Yeah, or
So-
at least give like the to be realized value as opposed to the what I've so far been paid for value.
Yeah. So because you always
It's
want
like
to
the stock market functions on the future potential realization of capital. That was a lot of future similes. And versus
the future
yeah,
is
it's
now.
like when you buy a stock, you're buying the future of the company.
Yeah.
Like the projected future of the company. You're not buying what it's worth today or what it was worth yesterday. You're buying the future, and hence futures.
Wow.
Deep. So
Here's your stock tip of the week. Google's splitting again.
oh yeah,
Probably buy that. They're splitting 20-1, which at current prices would make because they already have A and B class. This will be their C class. It'll be like about $150 a share when they split. So probably pick some up.
yeah.
Unless you want to bet against Google, which go ahead, but probably pick some up.
Yeah, they've still got some gas in the tank. They're
Yeah.
a well diversified company, unlike Meta, which I mean, Facebook had some shit numbers. You see that?
Facebook lost like fucking 25% of their value overnight.
To set the record for most value lost in a day, $200 billion overnight.
Just gone.
Or,
Yeah.
or like from bell to bell,
Yeah,
which
they're
is insanity.
yeah, well I think
That's like the GDP of
nation. Yeah, like Monaco. Like
no, it was like a good sized like EU nation.
yeah. You have to like I will give Zucks some credit though. I think they're playing a longer game than this,
Yeah, but the problem is their core business is dissolving.
which
Not
is fine.
not dissolving, but their
So-
core business is plateauing, and just as social media organizations have like hockey stick curve growth, they could see that now in reverse.
But they don't give a shit. Like, so Meta, part of the reason why they rebranded from Facebook is because Facebook has served its purpose now. Like, Facebook is the best facial recognition data collection company in the world. Like, they have so much data on you and your face, and that is going to be the forefront of technology that they put into their AI.
Yeah.
And that is the goal of all these companies, is they're trying to get to AI like singularity, right? Like AI being self-aware, basically. And Google, is obviously the GOAT when it comes to data collection, but they don't have the same kind of data that Facebook gets.
No.
Both are going to be needed. Like, something I was just thinking about the other day was I just learned this a few months ago, actually, that like, when you solve a CAPTCHA on a website,
Yeah.
and you have to pick, it's like, select all these cars.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder why all those things that it makes you select are always related to roadways, trains, cars?
Well, I know
signs?
why, but go ahead.
It's because you are training self-driving car technology, that AI to identify what streetlights look like, what signs look like, what cars look like.
Or in general, just visual machine learning, which in the past is actually why Google search is so good.
Yeah.
So if you've ever wondered why, like, if you use your Google Photos app, you just can type in, like, into the search bar, you can write, like, mountains.
Yeah.
You can write skiing. You can write food. You can write bar. You can write whatever, and it'll actually be able to pull all the pictures out of your library that are relevant to that term. It's that type of training that you're giving CAPTCHA.
Billions of people every day are training it.
Yeah.
And do you remember not too long ago, CAPTCHAs used to be letters in weird fonts?
Yeah.
That was because Google was in the process of scanning every single book in existence.
Yeah.
And all the pictures it was giving people for CAPTCHAs were like weird smudged letters, or something, the shadow was weird, something like that it didn't recognize. So it was getting people to verify what it was. And just recently, 3 years ago, Google has now scanned every single piece of literature in existence. Every single book, every single scroll.
Well, except for what's in the Vatican, but sure.
Okay, that we have access to, obviously.
Yeah.
But every single piece of literature
that they could access.
Every single piece of writing as a humanity that they have access to has now been documented. So that was now useless. So now they've switched to images, because that's the AI still needs a database of that.
Do you know that free language training programs like Duolingo are actually a significant part of translating the internet?
Okay.
Using human intelligence to translate the internet.
Because it tells us what one thing is, and then we tell it.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things about like just the idea of translating the internet just by its sheer scale. It's a computational, it's a requirement of work. It's a massive undertaking. And you can't just, like, who's going to hire translators to go translate the internet, right? Well, so it's actually a problem that's being solved by a lot of these language training programs.
And this is why people that dismiss like the metaverse and stuff like that are idiots. Because like, oh, it's just a fucking social media, buy like all that shit. Like, it's just like the bigger picture here with AI. And then also, like, do you remember when Zuckerberg was in front of the congressional hearing? Yeah. And they're like, so if Facebook is free, how do y'all make any money?
Yeah.
And it's like, the people running the United States and our country are so disconnected from what these companies actually do.
Yeah.
That it's like not even...
The whole Finsta thing is probably one of my favorites.
Will you take a stand right now to delete Finsta?
Yeah.
Why do they even want that?
To get rid of Finsta accounts.
Because it's anonymous? Is
no,
that why they want...
I don't know. I don't even know what their problem was.
Yeah, but
Finsta
all this like Web3 and metaverse shit, like, people are very, very underestimating where this is going. That clip that went viral of Joe Rogan where they asked him, do you own any virtual real estate yet? And he just burst out laughing. He's like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Just wait.
Also, he's old.
Yeah, but just fucking wait. Like, and just like the few people laughing, like, NFTs are just monkey pictures. It's like, well, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting.
I mean, they're right.
Well, you can use NFTs to have monkey pictures. We've talked about this a bunch of times. Like,
no, I'm pretty sure NFTs are just monkey pictures.
True. Yeah.
So if you look on
that's what it stands
if you look on the
for.
blockchain and you like, it's like the Matrix when he's like just reading lines of code. And it just looks like a monkey.
And it's just monkeys.
No, it's like zeros and ones that like looks like the picture of a monkey.
It's like with those pictures you cross your eyes and slowly go blurry, and then it like makes a picture, but it's a monkey.
Yeah. That's what they are. In case
like
you parents didn't know.
Yeah. So if your child wants to buy NFTs, let them.
Yeah.
Also bring them to the zoo.
Also give them your credit card.
True.
So I was gonna bring up on the financial statement side.
Yeah.
Morality of lying to lenders.
So
I'm making you nervous on this one because you're in the process of getting money.
Hey. I will speak in very vague terms. I can neither confirm nor deny that I've ever been involved in any sort of scam, scheme, or skazin. Do you have a question you want to ask me, Tyler?
No, not really. It just
Fuck
I guess
'em.
it's more specifically about, like, do you think this is something that discredits Trump, or do you think this is just he's the one guy that got caught?
Everyone fucking lies to lenders.
But I mean, like, this is,
Everyone
from what I
inflates
can
their
tell,
assets.
this is an egreason, like.
Well, I have
like,
no idea what neither of us.
It's the difference between the fact that he has a a positive net worth that's billions of dollars, or he's actually losing so much money that you would not and should not ever borrow to him again.
Well, neither of us have any idea what actually happened
Well,
as of now.
yeah, not yet. But if his leaked tax documents are to be believed, that's kind of what it indicates.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone fucking inflates their assets for lenders. Like, this is how it works. Like,
But you can't. Inflating real estate assets is a very different conversation as compared to like moving around depreciation and, like you were saying,
Sure.
accrual and versus cash account.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's
sure.
very different. If you saying I have $100,000 of winery equipment, or I have $250,000 winery equipment, one of those is true.
sure.
There's no gray area. It's
Fuck,
just a lie.
It depends on who you're. Yeah, I don't have any moral quandaries about lying to fucking banks. Fuck them.
See, and this is why I think Democrats are fucking stupid, because they think that discrediting Trump and showing that he lied to banks,
It's gonna
his
make
base is
any
going to be
difference.
like, yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck the banks.
Fuck the bank. Like, so here's my thing. It's like, if the bank wasn't smart enough to stop me from lying to them and frauding them, fuck them. They deserve to be. There's dupers and dupies. You know my political philosophy now. There's two types of people in the world. There's dupers and dupies. And if I get one over on a bank, they're a fucking dupie and they deserve it. Fuck them. You know what banks do? They literally take people's money.
Someone's going to send this to your bank and it'll be great.
Fuck them. Well, okay, hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure all the loans I've frauded, egregiously frauded, I might add, have been now paid off. Because I was credit worthy. Fuck you. Banks are so anti-small business and anti-entrepreneur. And they literally...
Also, I would say, like, startup loans really don't fall under any of this in terms of relevance, because all
Sure.
of it's based on nothing.
They take...
It's theater.
Banks take your money, pay you 0.05% for it, loan it out at 15%, and then just pocket the... Like, banks don't have any fucking money. They literally just move your money to somebody else's pocket.
Yeah.
And then pocket the difference. Banks are fucking scam artists. Fuck them.
And Canada's best at it.
If Trump scammed banks, I'm gonna vote for him in 2024. Just like people,
I was gonna say, getting your citizenship there, bud.
people were trying to no, because with my luck, I get fucking American citizenship. The next day I get drafted to fucking fight in Ukraine.
True.
Yeah, you don't even have to live there. If you've lived out of the country for 10 years but you still have citizenship, they can draft you. Anyway, but
I don't think they draft you. They'd be like, oh,
probably not, but they could.
yeah.
But remember when liberals were trying to discredit Trump by saying he's a draft dodger?
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes me like him more.
Yeah.
Fuck the war machine. It's so weird seeing these fucking liberals that are like, yeah, fuck the war machine. Do you know Trump's a draft dodger? That fucking scumbag? It's like, what are you talking about? Just like the same people that were like, yeah, all cops are bastards. And then the January 6th anniversary comes up and they're sharing the fucking cop that got killed.
Yeah.
Fuck him. Fuck that guy. He deserved to die. Fuck him. Whenever a fucking politician's hiding under their fucking stupid Senate chair, scared, maybe they're feeling a fucking fraction of the fear that 16-year-old kid that they sent to Iraq felt. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't care about that cop. I don't know why liberals do. Fuck them. Trump got that cop killed. Makes me love Trump. Trump's killed more cops than I have. Fucking respect.
Yeah, he broadly has a lot of police support.
Which is ironic, right?
Everything is.
He got that fucking... Yeah. Like, man.
Capitol Police is not police.
What are they? They're cops. Fucking, they're all cops. Park rangers are cops. Fuck them. It's a mentality. Liquor regulators. Fuck them. Those are cops too.
We need to clip out this entire section.
Why? You don't think this is going to help my run for fucking mayor?
I just think it's great. You've said fuck them to everyone and everything for like a minute now. It's pretty good.
I think I've given up on my political aspirations.
I was thinking about that today of like, I'm trying to think about what intellectually do I want to contribute to?
Like society?
Yeah. Like, how do I want to contribute intellectually? And I'm like, it's not being a politician because I would not be able to... I would railroad myself so fucking hard, like, because I constantly would... Like, I wouldn't be able to get a platform accomplished because I would, you'd begin exploring an idea. And if you explore an idea with a truly critical eye, either you're going to just be completely focused on that one thing at the cost of everything else, which is going to make you an impossible politician to vote for because you only appeal to like a single issue voter that's like 3%, and you get nowhere, right? You got to be broad, you got to be general, and you got to basically be meaningless.
I think I could I want to make a run for politics in a Trump way.
You'd have to, yeah.
Like when I'm 70 and rich and like been in the public eye for a long time, be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll run for prime minister.
Yeah, and you've just said so many things that like pulling a clip off of this podcast would be unsurprising to everyone.
Yeah, but like fucking the shit that Trump was saying even on the campaign trail, and people are like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, he's just the guy from New York. Fuck him. Like, you called women fat slobs. He's like, no, I called Rosie O'Donnell a fat slob. It's like this is the president of the United States. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I also like you have to appeal to the masses, obviously. Yeah. But the masses are dupies. Yeah. Right? So how do I appeal? I guess I dupe them.
You sure do.
I guess like I always wanted to be the politician, but maybe I'm better suited just owning a politician.
That was actually one of the last things that I was listening to the latest release of Joe Rogan Experience. And
because we're white supremacists.
Yeah,
so
of course. He's talking to a climate scientist, and he's doing this thing where he brings on a guy who's like, climate change isn't a big deal, whatever, carbon isn't actually fucking up our atmosphere, is like super on the conservative side, right? And then next episode, he brings on a guy to like refute that argument. So I'm listening to the guy that was refuting that argument and being like, no, climate change is serious. And as he just says, like, offhand, because this is just a thing that's fine, that everyone accepts, about how fossil fuel companies, they just basically have bought and paid for politicians. They're like wholly owned subsidiaries of
which I think is like a well-known fact, right?
Exactly. It's like, he's like, yeah, that's just how it is. In America, you can buy a politician. That's fine. That's legal. You can do that. It's like, oh.
Isn't that interesting that like...
Just to say it like that is just like, oh, that's... Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
I can't afford one.
Isn't that interesting that it's so out there, and yet
it's like that
it still happens and everyone's fine with it?
It's like that whole scandal of like all this bank account stuff on the Cayman Islands that got leaked, and there's like no Americans in that list because it's like all the crimes being committed by the people that needed those bank accounts are just, all those crimes are just legal. Yeah. Panama. Buy politicians.
Panama Papers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Panama. Yeah, you can just hide your taxes. Like all the things that they were doing, you can just do here legally. It's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to say out loud though.
So,
but it is. Everyone knows it too.
So as the thought experiment, I'm like, I like to be on the doomers side a lot of the time. Big shock to everyone who listens. think about just the simplicity of, let's say, making. I don't know how. Don't question that. Just assume you could make it illegal to buy a politician, or to like buy a campaign.
How we've done it here is that whether you're a corporation or a person, you can only contribute $5,000 to a campaign. That's
right,
it.
and we don't have super PACs. We don't have dark money. We don't have dark money campaigns.
Even though there is, but
not to the same extent.
Well, they're just like out in the like. There's absolutely MPs that get bribed here. There's definitely, but Canada's like
you gotta work
political,
for it.
like well, yeah. Well, us in the political pond don't really contribute much to the global scene, so there isn't a lot of law. Like there isn't a lot of money behind it because there's like, oh, good, Canada did something. Like no one really gives a shit.
Yeah, I guess that's certainly a factor. So it's like the money's just so powerful. But like, imagine, just as a thought experiment, you could make the dollar value of an opinion irrelevant and just kind of flatten the value of opinions. Like, here's a revolutionary idea: make every vote count for the same like that. That is the foundation of what America's built on, but it's been bastardized by fucking Paul Manafort and Roger Stone making lobbying what it is today.
My favorite.
Yeah, Manafort and Stone, biggest motherfuckers in the last century. Like
I'm a big Roger Stone fan.
They've ruined literally everything.
I think Roger Stone's so funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Is he out of jail?
And he fucks. What?
Is he out of jail yet?
No, I don't think so. He's a fucking moron. Like, just imagine if you could not buy a politician.
What kind of world is that?
Yeah. I think it'd be pretty cool. Imagine, like, I think a lot of very socialist-looking policies would probably come out of that, where things wouldn't be geared towards maximum profit of corporations. It'd be like maybe some things for greater good, because the greater good has the ability to choose for itself. For example, the phrase, the food that you eat is made with only one purpose in mind, and that is to maximize the profit of its production. And if that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, it's because it should. Like, if you're talking about, like, the pork you eat, that pork is not made to be the good, like, it's not even made to be the best pork. It's not even made to be good pork. It's not even made to be, like, the fact that it's pork is just a byproduct. It's how do we spend the least amount of money to get the most amount of pounds of hogs in and out of that door in the shortest amount of time.
Can I tell you something?
And that's what you eat.
That was Pound of Hog was my nickname in high school.
Ooh. Can I get a shirt that says Pound of Hog?
This week's Alcohol Beyond This Point shirt, available for 24 hours only after this podcast goes up, is a picture of me zoomed in, and it says Pound of Hog.
Nice.
Anyway, we're going to transfer here to our segment that we call Shot Caller, the part of the show where you, the audience, can pick the shot that we take. This week we are taking Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. I don't know what that was. It was like half Connery.
I was going to say.
Half just me being a little bit of a dickling. This is a cinnamon spiced spisky named after my aunt Fireball.
I didn't know where that was going.
Thank you, Aunt, for sponsoring this episode.
And firing your balls. So I think it's kind of funny that I'm like raging against
the machine.
Raging against the machine, the wealthy class that buys politicians, but also for some reason hog farmers. Well,
is there anyone you don't hate? Pablo Escobar or the pug?
The pug.
Okay. He's pointing at the wall behind me, and there's a picture of a pug and Pablo Escobar. And I guess Pablo Escobar's son.
And the White House. I was definitely pointing at the pug.
Fun fact, Pablo Escobar's son, still alive. He's just like a architect in like Peru.
Nice.
And he's just like, fine.
I bet he gets all the contracts he bids.
I think he wrote a book about the whole thing. But
Wild.
Yeah.
Has that like on his office wall.
I would.
Fuck yeah. Very famous. But yeah, no, all day today I was working in the future home. I use the term loosely. It's fucking gigantic. It's a mansion. They just finished pouring the footing for the helipad.
What, in Winnipeg?
Yeah.
They have a helicopter pad?
Yeah, it's right next to his like where he keeps all his like ATVs and his trucks and trailers and all of his like toys.
Dude, helicopters are so fucking expensive.
Yeah, he's got a helipad so he can get to his cabin.
Do I know this guy?
No.
I don't know. Fucking, how many people that live in this city can afford a fucking helicopter?
He's a pig farmer.
Jesus Christ. Now I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
How fucking hilarious is that?
Wow, really?
Yeah, second generation pig farmer. So
Mennonite?
he's wealthy enough. I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Not a Mennonite name at all.
Okay.
He's wealthy enough that both him and his brother have this kind of fuck you money.
You know how fucking expensive helicopters are to run?
Yeah.
Even the fucking tiny, like, one-person seat ones are fucking like $1,000 an hour to run.
Yeah, and he just has it for personal use.
That's wild.
And a helipad in his yard. And they're also pouring his pool right now.
Yeah.
You know how much money it costs to pour?
More than a helipad?
Yeah, a lot more.
Well, okay, helipad is just a fucking flat piece of rock.
Well,
it's the helicopter that's expensive.
Well, actually, helicopters are very heavy, and it's a very high, like concentrated load in a small area. Like it's actually a pretty expensive piece of concrete.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Concentrated load in a small area was your nickname in high school.
Jesus Christ.
Got him.
But no, this pool is ridiculous. At its deepest part, like it's not obviously finished at this point. They're pouring the walls and the foundation of it. But when the workers are standing in like the deep end of the pool, it's probably 2.5 times the height of the guys standing at the bottom of it. So it's fucking big.
Like 20 feet.
Yeah. Like, why do you need a pool that big?
Swimming?
And it's there's a door to it right off his bedroom. It's
lit.
Unbelievable. And full outdoor kitchen. It's probably like restaurant quality outdoor kitchen right next to his other amazing kitchen. This one's outside.
Why would you have an outdoor kitchen when you can only be outside 4 months a year here?
Because fuck you.
Yeah, I guess. I was house sitting in the summer at not this kind of house, but like a nice house in Tuxedo, like not a mansion, but like a nice house. And they had a fucking hardwired barbecue outside, like the natural gas was hardwired.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. I was
it's super
wow.
sweet. It's a lot better because it burns cleaner than propane.
Yeah.
So you don't get the propane taste in your food.
And you don't have to fuck around with like the propane tank and everything.
Just hard lined in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was like, do I have to hit a valve or anything? She's like, oh no, they said it's already on. I'm like, how does that work? And then I was like following the line. I'm like, wait a second, this is like fucking wired in. Yeah, that was cool. I'm very easily impressed. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I went to a house that was like the next level of that. They had the barbecue that was hard lined in, but they also had like the outdoor gas range and like the whole like stove and oven and everything like in this outdoor kitchen. But instead of like kitchen made of like wood cabinets, it's all made of stone.
Cool.
And then all the cabinets were stainless steel. And it had an island, like a bar top, and like a whole service area, and like an eating area, and it was all like made out of stone.
Yeah.
And then they had in the eating area, in the sitting area, they had these big stone tables with like a bunch of rocks in the middle, and it was like full of gas lines, like an element, and you just like hit a dial on the side, and the whole thing was like whoa. It was like a big fire table, and that was all like and that was like all hard lined in. It was like buried underground.
Cool.
And then there was like those, portable heaters you get at bars and restaurants and stuff, sitting by all the chairs. So if you want to like go sit over there and like have a private conversation with your friends on the private beach that was also on this property, you could just like, you hit this dial and these, portable heaters would flare up and you could be comfortable anywhere you sat on.
I'm more into that than like, I don't cook enough to have like to make use of like an outdoor, like a barbecue would be cool, but like I don't give a shit about
it was
kitchen.
It was like a fireplace everywhere you go. But the thing is with a fireplace, you get like that, you get the wood smoke and smell into your clothes.
It's a lot of work
It takes a bunch of work to start it and like it runs for a while and you got to put it out. Like it's much easier. Like, oh, I just want to have a fire. You hit a button and there's a fire next to your pool.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Under-
Like, I love all these things. Like, I am like, this is what pisses me off about me the most.
You're a minimalist with rich tastes.
I fucking love luxury.
Yeah.
Like, in a very, like, luxury fashion, I don't get it.
Sure.
Don't
yeah.
give a fuck.
Yeah.
Nice clothes, I get. Luxury brands, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Luxury car brands, I can appreciate the engineering and the, and the looks of it, but, like, buying something for the name, couldn't care less. I will pay money for things that are awesome. Like this wood fireplace that I was working on today. It's like, it's got a steel screen that comes down. It's got like it's got like a counterweight and everything, so it's like super easy and nice, light to pull down. But it's like a 50-inch wide. Think about a 50-inch TV. Actually, this would be equivalent to about a 65-inch TV, but it's a wood fireplace, and it's like a true wood fireplace. It's all stone on the inside, steel construction, and it's got this metal screen you pull down, so it like prevents sparks from like coming out and lighting your rug on fire. And then you can, like, if you're not feeling the metal screen vibes, you just, like, you push it up, and behind it a glass door comes down. Okay. So you can have glass doors. It's like a specific type of, like, ceramic based glass that disperses heat really well.
Yeah.
So then you can still see your fire. And then this glass slider actually has a hinged door in it, so like the door opens and it like also goes up, and it's like, what the fuck? And he has two of them within 30 feet of each other. Yeah. One of them for his cigar area, and then one of them for the living room. And they're literally you could throw a cork and hit one from the other. And I looked them up. Installed price is like $35,000-$40,000. That's not counting the tile and stonework we're doing on them.
That's what I make in 10 years.
It's like, I love all these things, and I hate it. Why do I like these things? Like, I have an appreciation for the quality, for the engineering. Like, if you can afford it, great, enjoy it. Like, I don't resent this guy one bit for spending this money on this mansion.
You don't want to redistribute his wealth?
No, but I fucking hate hog farms. And I think both
like on a moral position?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of those things can be true.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, we have a friend that basically...
Said that interestingly.
I was going to say roommate / person upstairs, and I settled on friend.
Oh.
The other guy.
My dad.
Yeah, the doctor. No, our friend JL will take the stance firmly of, like, because hog farming is bad, so is having this much money. I don't think there's necessarily a direct connection there. I do believe in a capital system. I also believe that the system we're in is not capitalism and it's corrupt as fuck.
Yeah.
I think lobbying is evil. I think a lot of these things are horrible. But I also want to be a rich person.
Yeah.
I want to be super successful because
I think there's ways to get rich without hitting your morals. Communists would, like, people on the left would say there isn't.
Yeah.
Because hiring any employee is stealing their excess labor. I don't subscribe to that, obviously.
I'm from a Mennonite background, and that's what I grew up believing.
But a lot of Mennonites are business owners, though.
Not rich ones.
Okay.
A few of them are.
Well, most business owners aren't rich.
Yeah,
I hate...
There's a lot of rich Mennonites.
One of my favorite things, not favorite, but favorite, is constantly people think I'm fucking rich.
Yeah.
Or not rich. Well, if not rich, like making good money.
A lot more successful than you are.
I make max $3,000 a month. Max. Right now, I'm paying myself $500 from my salary, and then like my dividends and stuff.
You make like an average or lower income.
I make a lower income than average. I make an average over the last 5 years. I have made an average of $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I have people I went to high school with that I'll like see out wherever at like an event or something, and they'll be like, "Man, you fucking made it." Like, you just fucking, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, man."
Made what? My car payment?
Made what? Like, yeah, and it's just like, I guess the whole image of I own a business and I'm in the news and stuff like that. It just like inflates that you're successful, but it's like, and also there's a difference between, like, I would consider myself successful. I think a lot of other people would as well, but there's a difference between being like successful and then being like fucking rolling in it.
I think
right?
what you mean is like people are equating your success with directly financial benefit.
Yes, yeah,
Direct financial benefit, which you don't have. Like this guy that, I'm doing this house for, he's not living in this house, and it's been under construction. This is third year. It's under construction, and it's very slow building houses like this in a market like this. There's just not a lot of people that do this every day, so it's like shit moves slow. And
hog shit moves slow.
Sure does. He presumably lives in a house that is not quite this great, but pretty fucking good, pretty close by, because he's there all the time. He just like swings by, he plows the driveway, and he's just always kind of hanging around. He's just a chill dude.
You know what else we can plow?
This shot.
Yeah, sure.
That's not what you were gonna say.
No, that was not. If you listen to this podcast, if we take a shot for shot color that's under 40%, we have to take a second one. So we are taking a second shot of this 33% Fireball.
We're gonna plow this shit.
We just plowed that right into our fucking gullets.
But yeah, what I was gonna say is this guy is second generation. So the fact that him and his brother jointly own this farm means their father started it, right? So he's so far down the realization of work, the capitalization of work. Like, he is, like, when you're starting a business, your capitalization on your work, in terms of like your money versus your effort, you're going to be at like 5%, maybe zero.
Yeah. Maybe less than zero. Like,
maybe
you're
less
paying,
than
you're,
zero.
You're paying, right?
Yeah, you may be at negative 100% return on effort.
From this entire project, I'm coming up on my 8th year of like working on this project, my winery.
Yeah.
5th year of operation, but like coming up on the 8th year of like actually working on this, like, to realize this.
And if you compare
I
that,
make nothing.
If you compare that to a corporate career, you'd certainly be in six-figure salary.
I'd be easily making $100,000 right now if I got a job at 18 or maybe went to university.
If you were working at a bank or like, let's say a corporation that would have a high enough ceiling,
yeah,
you would be easily in six figures now.
I think I agree with you.
You could be making $250,000 a year.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like, I'm thinking of an equivalent in my mind who's got a lesser set of skills than you, who just literally worked at a bank from 16 years old, and by mid to late 20s was making between 160 to 200 a year.
I have the skill set to make a lot of money in the corporate world, but
so you have to measure that against.
I would have killed myself.
Not necessarily, because
I don't know. I get one chance at this life. I'm not gonna fucking go do that. I don't give a shit how much money they pay me.
Okay, so what if, like, this person that I'm thinking of, what if you're making enough money and enough at a young age, this person goes on a trip, like, leaves town, like, goes to Vegas, goes to LA, parties in Toronto, goes to Vancouver, goes to Europe, goes on a trip like that every other week, all year.
Good for them.
For the last 10 years.
Good for them. I'm really happy for them.
Would that not compensate for the fact that you work at a bank?
Yeah, probably would. But you gotta...
That's what I'm saying. You're probably like an attitude adjustment away from that.
No, there's...
Not that you're not capable. You just don't see it that way, and maybe your life path led you differently, but like, you could be there.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind I could easily be very successful in a corporate kind of job. Even like corporate sales. Like, if I had, the stuff that I've pulled off with nothing, like no resources. Like, if I had the proper resources, I could be a killer on a corporate sales team. Selling deep sea mining equipment or something, right? Like, name a thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I get a lot of personal satisfaction from my career that I don't think I would get the same way.
Certainly not.
Um,
But your personal life would look dramatically different. What you
yeah,
see
well,
it as
maybe my Instagram would look dramatically different, but I don't know if I'd be any happier.
you could be. Like,
Sure, okay.
I think you believe that a lot more money, like money does make you happier.
If I was making $250,000 when I was 18 years old, I would have put it down my nose and probably overdosed.
I'm not saying 18 years old. I mean, you made progressively more over the last, let's say, 6 years.
Yeah.
And now you are making 250,000.
Sure.
But it was consistent enough that you went through that phase. You blew a bunch of money. You partied a bunch. That kind of matured. You made some smart investments. Your investments are paying a bunch of dividends. Now your dividends are buying more investments. And, like, you're just on a fucking rocket ship.
Yeah.
And your wages just keep going up. You keep on getting promoted. Like, everything's going good.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you're in, like, you know, a happy, successful, stable relationship because that's
Because I met
that happens to some people.
That happens to some people. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
I hate those people. Your career's on path. Your finances are humming along. Your rental properties are all making profit.
Yeah.
You got all this shit going for you, and because you don't spend all this time on your business, you're focused on enriching your personal life, or maybe improving your personal portfolio, or maybe traveling. Like, you're putting a bunch of effort into travel, and that can be really rewarding. Like, or I don't know, fucking nonprofit work, volunteering. Like, name a thing. You put more work into that stuff. The creative energy you would put into a business, now you don't have to. Now you put it into something else. Like, I can see that. Like, you have to look at that as kind of like your return on effort and the cost. The cost always comes from somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
you're building
Yeah,
this
agreed.
great business. People look at you like you're super successful, and you just did another interview for the Free Press.
Today, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff wouldn't have come out of a corporate career.
Correct. I would never be. When you Google my name, the first 4 pages of Google are like articles I've been in.
Versus you having a really good travel Instagram where you wear, like, Gucci and sit on the beach in Bali.
But I probably have 1,000 followers.
Either way.
Either way. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't even know where I'm going with this, but
I don't have any regrets, if that's what you're asking.
No, certainly not. Neither do I. Because as I'm saying this about you, I feel like I could be kind of in the same boat.
Oh, easily.
Because, you know, when
And you've tried.
JL talks about his corporate career,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no, I could do that. And, like, I
But you've had 6-figure jobs in not
Yeah.
not like a fucking 100-year-old corporation, but you've had like 6-figure jobs in high-performing positions.
Yeah.
Like, and how did that make you feel, Tyler?
The money felt great.
Yeah.
Job, trash.
Yeah. Which I
So-
think more often than not, you'd be surprised. I think a lot of people are
There's that
very happy
trade-off.
with their. Just like you said, you gotta fucking pay it somewhere.
Yeah, you got to pay it somewhere, and it's like in your heart and soul. So this person that I'm thinking of that made all this, you know, shitload of money being successful at a young age, the trade-off for them was a distinct lack of imagination,
Okay.
and this person seemed to spend money in places where they thought they should, not where they necessarily wanted to.
Okay.
There wasn't like a great amount of, like, so for example, a well thought out luxury property of, like, someone that is used to the money that they have is gonna be very personal. That's the thing about luxury real estate that I really enjoy, is it's very personal. You can understand a lot about the person that's gonna live there
I want to have a bar
by
in mine.
walking through their house. So there's one property that we just did. There's a bar in virtually every space. The kitchen is just, you know, basically a giant
And you're like,
bar.
wait, does Willows live here?
Yeah, there's like a sitting area that's got a library. That's basically just like a lounge. Big bar.
Yeah.
There's a secret door that goes into the basement. There's a gym with a bar. I think it's got a health bar, to be fair, but there's a
Still?
bar.
Yeah.
You go upstairs to his bedroom. They just spent like $1,000 adjusting the placement of this one door so they could fit their wine fridge
In their room.
in their bedroom.
Love it. That's
Because there's a mini bar.
Yeah. This guy.
and is right next to his like $11,000 solid stone bathtub.
Yeah.
That guy's got a lot of fucking bars.
Yeah. Mood.
So Pig Farmer House that I did today has I think it's $400,000 in like just the room, $400,000 trophy room,
Right.
for his hunting trophies.
Right. Yeah.
It's like 2,000 square feet, maybe 3,000 square feet. It's gigantic, 20-foot ceilings.
Like in Davik Kang's compound. I'm not going to elaborate.
Like, think about the gym you go to, but higher ceilings and about that size. That's where his hunting trophies go.
Which that makes me sad.
Yeah.
I don't like dead boys.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead boys.
Sad.
There's full-size fake trees in here and mountains.
Sad. There's a full-sized fake mountain, Tyler.
No, full-size fake trees, quote, comma, and mountains.
Okay.
The mountains.
There's a full-size mountain.
The mountains are
You
only
can
like.
see it's from space.
The mountain's probably about the height of your house.
Was my nickname in high school, I guess. I don't know, man.
So that's that guy's house.
You know the tropical house at the zoo?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to have in my house.
Yeah, what do they call it?
So it's called a tropical house.
I can't think of a solarium. No, that's a room.
No, a solarium is like glass on the top. This is not.
A solarium is like a glass room.
Yeah.
Anyways,
solarium.
But yeah, so this guy didn't have like that personal kind of touch to his house. He just wanted like flashy, shiny shit everywhere, and he wanted like every room to be really flashy and shiny, and just like kind of like big, but no real thought around it. Like nothing was really functional, nothing was really well thought out, and it's like what he actually. And because I was working in this house for so long, I could see kind of how he spent his time and where he focused his energy. So this guy spent the money he spent versus what it was actually worth was very big difference. He cheaped out, cut a lot of corners, but basically, let's say this guy spent about $40,000 on a bar in his basement, like a sports bar.
Yeah.
Like an array of 4 50-inch TVs, racks of liquor, huge bar that seats 6 people, full service with with the sinks, with the ice makers.
That's what I want in my house.
The whole bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And enough shelving for about, I think he said he spent about $6,000 just to kind of fill the space of the shelves, and that was like all the bottles were just spaced out.
Yeah.
Like just display wise, like you could probably pack twice that much in there. And also we did a full wine rack. And he doesn't drink.
Yeah. Well, so why?
At all.
Because I
He
want.
doesn't drink, period. Doesn't like wine.
Yeah.
Doesn't like rum.
Yeah.
Doesn't like beer.
This is just for like people to come over, or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He has like 7 bottles of Dom.
Yeah.
He doesn't even like champagne.
Because I want you
He'll
to
drink it sometimes, but
I want you to build me like an Irish pub in my basement, because I will hang out there all the time.
Exactly, that's valuable.
Getting shittered.
That makes sense.
Because that's
valuable.
all I ever wanted in my life.
See, I love that. Like a shitty Irish pub in a basement.
That's what I'm doing. 100%.
Like, that's valuable.
Yeah.
Buddy with a $40,000 bar that doesn't drink.
Yeah. It's like, why?
That's 100% waste.
Well, yeah,
that's
'cause
useless. That's stupid.
Everything in my house I get function out of.
Yeah, I have a tiny house and I love it because I get use out of every square foot.
Yeah.
Of that house, and that's like when I think about building my future luxury property. It's not this big cavernous empty space where I can like maybe entertain people, or this outdoor kitchen that I use once a year. I have like a very specific list of things that I want my house to be able to do, and it's like
I have a list on my phone too.
Yeah, it's like to service of personal enjoyment, and I think everyone should have the opportunity to do that. And for a lot of people, a big house isn't required. For most people,
yeah,
it's not. But like the pleasure of enjoying spaces and in like small things, like you can have a very small kitchen that can be very enjoyable to use.
Well, I don't cook that much, so like the whole that's what I was saying when you were talking
You
about
don't fucking need one.
The outdoor kitchen. It's like why would I need that?
Yeah.
I want a big bar, big office computer room, because with a bunch of toys and stuff, VR, etc., movie theater, but then like tiny kitchen, right? Like I don't need the fucking giant island and fucking 6-burner stove and shit. I don't fucking cook.
See, what you like a luxury house for Willows would be very big social spaces.
Yeah.
And the kitchen would be like a butler's kitchen, which would be kind of like, if you had one, I guess now because it's kind of style, if you ever cared about retail price, but probably when you're building a house, you're like, fuck retail.
Probably at that point, yeah.
Which is what a lot of these people are like. They're like, why would you make that choice? It's like, that's a dumb design choice. Like, that wouldn't have any resale value. It's like, why would I care about the resale value? It's like,
Yeah,
I
how
could
many
literally
people,
light the amount of money this house cost on fire and be okay.
Yeah, like how many people are gonna buy the house with a trophy room? They'd be like, "What the fuck am I doing with this?"
No, but
like,
you could turn it into something crazy. Like, you remember when Dan Bilzerian bought that crazy house, and he just like was one of the record-setting house purchases in the U.S.
Yeah,
And he just turned this like huge room. It was, I don't know if it was like imagine this idea of the trophy room. He just converted the whole thing into like a big playroom, like rec room, with like a ball pit.
Yeah.
And trampolines and like to do fun stuff. Big Velcro wall, a bunch of weird shit. And they had tennis courts outside. He's like, I don't fucking like tennis. Or it was like tennis or basketball courts. And he just got like $1 million of weightlifting equipment and just dropped it on the tennis court. And
Yeah.
just got like a rubber deck put in. Like that's everyone. Like there's a way to kind of manipulate these spaces
to suit you.
If any person comes to buy that house in the future, they're gonna have fuck you money to mess with it anyways.
Yeah.
So you make it how you want. So
That's
a
like
Willow's house would have like just like a butler's kitchen in the back you can't even see, where like the skip guy walks in
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Or where like the chef you hired can cook and like mind his own business and not be interrupted.
Yeah.
And that's where the kitchen is.
Yeah.
It's behind that door.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I guess like that's we'll kind of transition here into our last smegment
Oh my, that's gross, dude.
that we call smegma of the week and
That's
or
so gross, dude.
tip of the
Even
week.
know what smegma is?
Yes, I do.
Google it right now.
Don't Google it, please. Tip of the morning. I mean, tip of the episode. This is the tip of the week segment that we call the segment tip of the week, where Tyler and I give you a tip that we are currently going through in life, or whatever. And I really am now thinking about what you just said. And I think you kind of like, so there's this interview with Kanye and Kim when they were married, and Kanye's talking, or she's talking about like their giant pool that they have, and then Kanye's like, yeah, do you and tell them how many times you've used the pool, and she's like, yeah, I've never been in the pool, and then she's like, yeah, because we don't even have a jacuzzi, and then
She's like, yeah, but I like it. I love the pool. I love how it looks.
And then Kanye looks at the camera. He's like, "Can you believe that? That we don't even have a jacuzzi?" Like, just making fun of her.
No. Yeah.
But super. That was just what came to mind when you were talking. But like,
that's a
literally
prime
it's
example.
Like you have something you don't even like that you pay. She probably pays a lot of money to keep that thing warm and filled, and she doesn't even use it. Right?
Yeah, I bet you the tax bill on the tax bill they pay just to have that thing on their property.
Yeah.
Is like what some people pay for their car annually.
Yeah. So my tip of the week is don't ever think like you have to be keeping up appearances to people, because that's the easiest way I think to go broke. Because I was going to say
it's
about
the easiest way to be fucking depressed.
Well, that too, but like, so say this hypothetical person that you were talking about. I know you were talking about a real person, but let's talk about a hypothetical person that makes $250,000 at a fucking high level, job. Spends all their goddamn money on bullshit that they don't like, on a trophy room and a pool and stuff because they want to impress people, and then something COVID happens.
Yeah.
The business goes out under. And they don't have a job anymore.
Or rather, COVID happens and they can't have anybody over.
Can't entertain. Yeah, there
they
you go.
can't entertain anybody in their party
I
house.
I have a $40,000 bar, and I can't have people over legally.
And a $50,000 pool with a $30,000 deck.
And I don't drink.
And I don't drink, and nobody's coming over. Like,
Yeah.
the idea was to have friends over, and his friends would drink.
Yeah, and now you can't. So,
yeah,
that's just, obviously we don't think another COVID's going to happen. Well, I mean, knock on goddamn wood. But, unlikely something like that happens, but it's the principle of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why, and that's my tip, is don't think you need to have appearances. That it's a fucking, like, I'm just thinking of people I know, like, it's a fucking.
Can you tell me about your watch and why it's
Yes,
why
I
it's
can.
the watch everyone should buy?
Yes, I can. So that's my tip. But yeah, I guess I will mention the watch I'm wearing was my grandfather's watch, my dearly departed grandfather. So he was a guy, never wore a watch. Didn't care. He was a superintendent of schools for most of his life. He was the boss. He set the rules. He didn't need a fucking watch, right?
Yeah.
Didn't like watches. Didn't wear one. He was retired, probably in his 60s or 70s. Him and my grandmother were in Ireland. They were touring the original Guinness factory, where they make the Guinness beer. And they had a watch in the gift shop. And he said, "Ooh, Guinness watch." And my grandpa's like, "You don't wear watches." He's like, "Well, now I'm going to." And he wore this watch till he died.
So,
So I'm wearing a Guinness branded watch.
So do you think he said, "Yes, I'm going to now," to spite your grandmother, or because he just wanted to?
I don't know. It
could be either. It could go either way.
He was he was a good guy. I don't know why this. I guess, like, I think just
He was probably thinking about, maybe I should be a watch guy, probably for like a decade,
I
and
don't
then
know.
finally he saw the watch kicked him over the line.
No, you know what I think it was? It's like he would have these weird things that he was like, "Oh, I really like that,"
Yeah,
and he didn't apologize for it. And he was like, "No, I want that one,"
yeah.
kind of thing. I think that's more of what it was. So I'm just wearing, like you said earlier, I was in the paper again today, and they sent a photographer down, and I was wearing a all gray jacket, gray vest, gray tie. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put on I usually wear a gold watch, the smartwatch you gave me. But I was like, I want to wear a silver watch to go with the gray. So I threw this on to go with the outfit. But yeah,
It's a good watch.
thank you. Yeah, it's not currently. I don't have a single watch that's running anymore.
Oh no.
I looked at I have 10 watches, and not a single one is ticking, because for the last 2 years, 3 years, I've just been wearing that smartwatch pretty much exclusively, and I've just let all the other watches die.
That tracks.
I need to, like, bring them in. You can, like, most places will just, like, give you a free battery and, like, replace it, but I'm just lazy.
And why does it need to work anyways? That's what phones are for. It's just jewelry.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a fucking accessory. Fuck it. Well, I want to get a Rolex pretty soon. I love watches. Like, I really like luxury timepieces.
Yeah, you wear accessories.
Yeah.
I fucking don't.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna get a watch, it'll be like, if I'm gonna spend money on a watch, like, I got my eyes on this, like, Garmin watch.
Okay.
That's it can, like, even without your phone, it will do GPS, track you, like, you can map your way through stuff. So if you're hiking, you're fucking stuck in the woods, like, this Garmin can get you out. It can also send out an SOS beacon.
Cool.
It's even for, like, pilots. You crash your plane, you're stuck in the woods, you're, like, hung up in your parachute, you fucking hit this thing, it'll send an SOS, get rescue to you. And so it's like, it does all these amazing functional things. It looks really nice. It's really sleek smartwatch. They're just super expensive. They have all this tech in them, right?
Yeah.
That's really nice to me. Or maybe like the new Pixel watch. Other than that, maybe I'll spend a little bit of money on get some that's like maybe glittery, but
Yeah.
I'll wear it 5% of the time.
Yeah, because I wear rings and
99% of the time.
yeah, yeah. I wear rings and bracelets and
just-
watches and necklaces and et cetera, et cetera. And we're back. Anyway, Tyler, you want to give us your tip of the week? I don't remember what we were talking about, but we got interrupted here for a second. But if you want to give us our tip of the week.
Keep working on that.
It's not. I'll play you the fucking Kendrick clip later. You'll understand.
Okay. I think my tip of the week would simply be you always are going to have to live within your means.
I disagree. But continue.
Within reason, you can stretch it with credit. Anyways, that's not the point. So within your means today, think about what can you afford that would give you a great deal of satisfaction and enjoyment. And just pick one thing. Pick one thing that can be affordable. And, for me this year, it's going to be a roof rack on my car so I can actually move my bike around and use it, and some inflatable paddle boards so I can, go out when I go out, hiking, doing outdoor adventures. One of the things that you really discover when you start getting out into the wilderness is oh, I'd like to get out on the water. That's a cool way to interact with nature. So, got paddle boards. Two things, not immensely expensive. Roof rack, you get it used, $100, $200, $300. Paddleboard's a little more expensive, $300, $400, $500 a piece. If you get them cheap online, $1,000, $2,000 you want really nice. But you're not these are things that most people, or I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people can afford, especially if you save up for it and you prioritize it. But can make your entire year that much more exciting and worth living, and then maybe create a new form of enjoyment for yourself. And maybe you're oh, I actually don't need much more than this. I just learned how to snowboard this last weekend, and I'm I fucking love snowboarding. It's it's really intuitive. It's really
all
fun.
Those 3 hours you snowboarded for.
Why do you have to bring that up?
You brought it up.
No.
You just brought it up. I wasn't even going to say anything.
I said I learned how to snowboard. I didn't say I shredded all weekend.
We went on a ski trip for 4 days, and Tyler quit after the first day, and I skied the entire time.
Yeah, I injured myself.
No, you didn't. You were just scared to injure yourself because you're a little baby bitch boy.
No, I literally injured myself.
I, on the other hand, was excellent at skiing.
Anyways, that's not the point. You're not too fucking old. Pick up a new sport. Enjoy yourself. Find something that, it's probably... You're best off if it's going to be something that you have to physically exert yourself for, because that's usually the most satisfying.
I disagree.
You literally just said how much you enjoyed skiing, and
I was the best skier. It was fun.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun.
I went down the hill.
Skiing's more fun than reading a book.
It's somewhere between reading a book and jerking off.
If jerking off could last for 3 days.
Wait. Oh, Lord. I have something to tell you, buddy. Have you ever heard of methamphetamine?
You can never get off, but you're always hard for some reason.
Cut it with Viagra.
Don't a bunch of people die like that?
It's
Coke and Viagra.
I used to party with a guy, and the pressed caps are a type of MDMA, 3,4-methylene dioxymethamphetamine, Molly, they call it. You can get Molly in a powder, but you can also get it in pressed caps, and a lot of people will cut the pressed caps with different drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy I used to party with, he said the best pressed cap he ever did in his life was 50% Molly, 25% meth, 25% Viagra. Was the best pill he's ever done in his life.
He's probably right.
Because I guess the Viagra, because the reason it gives you an erection is because it expands your blood vessels or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're higher.
Yeah.
He said that was the best drugs he's ever done in his life, for the record.
He's probably right.
Yeah.
It might kill you, but it's probably pretty
This
good.
is also a man who does 50% Molly, 25% meth, 25% Viagra pills in weird raves. So take his word how you want to, but I remember this very, this is a core memory I have of him being
maybe
no, I swear.
Maybe that's what you invest in this year.
Is Viagra.
Sourcing those pills
or the generic equivalent.
Sure.
Because we have to live within our means, which was your tip.
Yeah. Yeah, within your means, pick one thing that you can really fucking enjoy and commit to it and do it this year and see it to its end. And then if you really, really enjoy it, you could do it again next year. And you know what? Now you already bought all the shit and it's not going to cost you anything. It'll be great. And it's a double win. Or maybe you get bored, you sell that thing, be one of those assholes in January, flip that shit for profit.
Flip it, and then now you've made a business, and we've come full circle to our business podcast.
Yeah.
Which is called Alcohol Beyond This Point.
Yep.
That's Alcohol Beyond This Point on Instagram. Linktree.something. Linktree.alcohol beyond this point. Go on there. It has all the links. It'll be in the description. This is Tyler, and my name is Willows.
And we're done.
Do you have any other closing?
Nope.
Me neither.
Alcohol Beyond This Point podcast.
This isn't two podcasters talking business. This is two business guys trying to podcast.